Have you ever had that feeling, where life seems like it's just sort of happening to you?
Yeah, like you're reacting constantly.
Exactly. Not really for you. You're trying hard, but it feels like you're swimming against some invisible tide.
Mm-hmm.
What if the key difference, that space between feeling in control and just reacting, isn't some big secret or external thing? What if it's, well, closer to home, simpler almost?
Deceptively simple, perhaps.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into something we're calling the invisible architecture of control. It's these 5 M's.
The 5 M's: mouth, mind, mood, manner, and money.
That's them. In our research, digging into behavioral science, history, philosophy, it all seems to suggest that getting a handle on these 5, ordinary-sounding things, that might be the actual decider, the thing that shapes whether life feels like your own creation or just chaos.
It's a really sharp way to frame it, because they do sound basic, don't they? Mouth, mind.
Yeah, fundamental.
But the evidence we've looked at is pretty compelling. You trace back empires, you look at modern business, even just individual lives, family dynamics. The way these elements are managed or mismanaged consistently dictates the outcomes. They're not just personality quirks. They are kind of the hidden levers of power in any life.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack each one, to look at the mechanics, the real power they hold.
And hopefully give you a new lens.
Yeah, exactly. We think by the end, you'll look at your own path, your own sense of agency, maybe in a startlingly different way. Let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, let's start unpacking this. First up, the mouth. It's often described, maybe dramatically, as the sharpest weapon you carry.
It sounds dramatic, but is it?
Well, capable of building amazing things or, causing total destruction.
Right. And the power in words is it's immense and maybe often underestimated. Think about it historically. Every major war declaration, every peace accord, every big scientific leap forward discussed and agreed upon, even really personal things like marriage vows or devastating betrayals.
It all starts with words.
It all starts with words, exactly. A single speech can unite millions, right? But a careless word from a leader can spark a global crisis or bring it closer to home. A harsh comment from a parent, that can echo in a child's mind for years.
Decades even.
Or a joke told without thinking. Boom, career derailed. It's fascinating how these seemingly small verbal acts can have such massive, lasting consequences.
And here's the part that really grabbed me from the research. The shocking part, maybe. Most of us think we have decent control over what comes out of our mouths.
We like to think so.
But the science, it kind of says otherwise. Especially under pressure. You mentioned the brain science.
Yeah, the neurobiology is clear. In moments of intense anger or fear, the amygdala, the emotional center, can basically overpower the prefrontal cortex.
Which is the rational part.
Right, the part responsible for thinking things through, controlling impulses. So you get this, they sometimes call it amygdala hijack or even verbal leakage.
Leakage, I like that.
Words just spill out, unfiltered, and that's where the deep regret often comes from later.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
And that's precisely why so many wisdom traditions and even, modern communication coaches hammer home that rule.
Right.
Don't let your mouth speak faster than your mind thinks.
It's practical advice.
It's more than advice. It's acknowledging reality. Words, once they're out, you can't pull them back. They're out there, shaping how people see things, changing relationships. They can be, honestly, more permanent than ink and definitely more powerful than a physical weapon sometimes.
Wow. Okay, so the mouth is the tool, the weapon. But what's actually driving it? What's behind the words, good or bad?
Well, that naturally leads us inward, doesn't it?
To the mind, yeah. Our second M, and our sources frame this as the real battlefield, where your future is constantly being sort of thought for and decided. The idea being what you feed your mind, what you let grow there, that becomes your reality.
And here's something really striking from cognitive science. The numbers fluctuate a bit study to study, but the pattern is consistent.
Okay.
The average person has something like 60,000 thoughts a day, maybe more. And a huge chunk of those, maybe up to 80%.
80? That's huge.
Are negative or just repetitive loops. Now, that doesn't mean our minds are inherently broken.
Right.
But it suggests that without conscious effort, without actively steering our thoughts, our default setting often drifts towards negativity bias or just rumination, spinning wheels.
So left to its own devices, the mind can actually work against you.
It can become its own saboteur. Yeah, not intentionally, but just through that lack of mindful direction.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because when you look at people who achieved incredible things, inventors, athletes, leaders,
The game changers.
they weren't just lucky or necessarily born with super brains. They actively worked on their minds.
Cultivated them.
Exactly. We see evidence of them using practices like meditation, consistent visualization, affirmations, really rigorous mental discipline.
These aren't just, fluffy self-help things.
No.
They are actual techniques for cognitive restructuring.
Yeah.
They're literally rewiring their brains bit by bit to support their goals.
Rewiring.
Which connects to that old saying, you don't become what you wish for, you become what you think about most of the time.
Right. That's not just a nice quote.
No, it points directly to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, and how the stories we tell ourselves shape who we become. And this leads to a really critical point.
Which is?
If you don't take control of your own mind, your own thoughts, someone or something else will.
Okay.
Think about it. Social media feeds, endless advertising, maybe even manipulative people around you.
Yeah.
They're all constantly trying to plant thoughts to shape your internal world.
And if your internal world shapes your reality.
Then they're shaping your reality, often without you even noticing.
Okay, so we have mouth, the output, mind, the control center. What about the emotional atmosphere?
The climate.
Yeah, the climate. That brings us to mood. The third M, described beautifully, I thought, as the weather of your soul.
That's a great description.
Think about it personally. How many times has a really bad mood just thrown everything off, ruined a good opportunity, strained a relationship?
No, absolutely. It's powerful. And the data we looked at really backs this up. An uncontrolled mood isn't just feeling bad for a bit.
No.
It leads to real, tangible losses. Opportunities missed because you snapped at someone trying to help, or maybe depression kept you from even pursuing something important.
Yeah. While opportunity was knocking.
Exactly. And biologically, mood is incredibly complex. It involves neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine hormones like cortisol. Even your gut health plays a huge role through the gut-brain axis.
So it's not just psychological.
Not at all. It's deeply physiological. It can either fuel you or completely stall you out. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it, how many great chances are lost? Not because the door wasn't open, but because our internal emotional state just wouldn't let us walk through it.
That's a heavy thought.
Yeah.
And it affects how others see you too, right? Credibility.
Massively. If your mood is all over the place, people find it hard to trust you, to rely on you. Consistency matters.
It's not about never feeling down or angry.
No, successful people feel all those things. The difference is their emotional regulation,
Okay.
their ability to stay calm when everyone else is panicking, or to stay humble when they're on top of the world, finding that steady ground even when the emotional weather is rough.
That makes sense.
And here's a maybe shocking truth from history and even modern business. You find examples of incredibly powerful people, billionaires even, whose empires were seriously damaged or even destroyed.
Not by competitors.
No, but by a single, massive emotional outburst, a moment of uncontrolled rage leading to a disastrous decision, or long-term resentment that poisoned key relationships. These aren't small things. They can be the pivot. And history is full of examples. Kings and queens who were loved not just for their power, but for their dignified, respectful manner. Leaders who inspired incredible loyalty through how they carried themselves.
And the opposite.
The opposite, too. Countless figures whose arrogance, rudeness, or just basic lack of respect ultimately led to their downfall, even if they were brilliant or powerful. Manner is like the unspoken social contract.
So connecting that to today,
Yeah.
what does it mean now? It feels like maybe manners are fading, especially online.
It's certainly a striking observation. In some corners of the digital world, rudeness, trolling, just being dismissive, it seems almost normalized, sadly.
Yeah.
But step outside those specific bubbles into a high-stakes meeting, a job interview, even just an important personal conversation.
Manners still matter.
They matter hugely. They are still a massive, though often invisible currency of success. Time and again, you see someone who is competent and graceful, who treats people with genuine respect.
They often get further.
They often outperform someone equally talented, maybe even more talented, but who comes across as arrogant or just unpleasant. Manner opens doors that pure talent sometimes can't.
Interesting. Okay, that brings us to the final M, the big one for many people, money.
Ah, money.
Our sources often paint it with this duality,
Mm-hmm.
the most powerful servant, but also the most dangerous master.
And that's the core tension, isn't it? Here's the really profound insight, and it's often missed. Most people think they're chasing money to get control.
Right, for freedom.
But in reality, for many, money ends up controlling them.
How so?
It dictates their choices, it keeps them stuck in jobs they hate, makes them sacrifice time with loved ones, maybe even bend their own values, all in this constant, often unthinking pursuit of more.
It becomes a kind of trap.
Exactly. A subtle kind of servitude that feels like ambition but isn't really serving them.
But the texts we looked at, philosophical, economic, they're pretty clear that money itself isn't the problem, right? It's not inherently evil.
No, absolutely not. Money is neutral. It's just a tool, an amplifier. The real question is, are you using the tool wisely, with intention, or are you letting the desire for the tool, the greed, take over and start using you?
That's the key distinction.
And if you look across human experience, money really acts like a powerful mirror. It reflects your self-control, your priorities, your underlying values.
Can you give examples?
Sure. Think of figures like Carnegie, dedicating his later life wealth to build libraries, or the Gates Foundation tackling huge global health issues. They used money as a tool for massive positive impact. But then contrast that with the countless stories of people whose lives were destroyed by uncontrolled gambling, by drowning in debt, or just by an insatiable greed that consumed everything else.
Same tool, different outcome.
Exactly. The power wasn't in the money itself, it was in the person wielding it, or being wielded by it.
So the fundamental rules for mastering money distilled from all this,
Yeah.
they seem pretty simple on the surface.
Deceptively simple again.
Spend less than you earn, invest more than you spend, and crucially, never let money dictate your morals or your core values.
That last one is the bedrock.
Okay. So we've walked through all five: mouth, mind, mood, manner, money. But here's where it all really clicks together, I think.
The connection.
Yeah. Because most people might think about these things separately, like, oh, I need to work on my temper, or I need to manage my money better.
Right. Dealing with them in silos.
But the really deep insight seems to be that they aren't separate. They're interconnected.
Deeply. Like a single living system. You could almost call it biological and its interconnectedness.
A chain reaction.
Absolutely. Think about it. Lose real control in one area, and it almost inevitably weakens the others.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, if you lack control over your mind, say you're stuck in negative thought patterns, what happens? It becomes much harder to control your mouth. You end up saying reactive, maybe hurtful things.
Right. Mind affects mouth.
Or if your mood is constantly volatile, what happens to your manner? You come across as unpredictable, maybe disrespectful, even if you don't mean to.
Mood affects manner. Got it.
And what about money? If you don't have control there, the stress, the pressure, what does that do to your peace of mind?
Destroys it.
Exactly, and impacts your mood constantly. See, they all feed into each other. But the good news is, it works the other way too.
How so?
Gaining mastery in one area often makes the others easier. Get your mind more focused and positive, your mouth follows more constructively, regulate your mood better, your manner improves naturally, get money under control, huge relief for your mind and mood.
Ah, okay. So the big takeaway here is you can't just focus on one M in isolation.
Not if you want true, lasting mastery over your life. You have to see it as a whole system, an ecosystem of self-governance, if you will.
And we see the consequences of not doing that everywhere, right?
Oh, constantly. Throughout history, in the news today, probably in our own lives, if we're honest, think about leaders who fell from power.
Yeah.
Was it always external forces? Often no. It was a reckless statement from an uncontrolled mouth, or a series of bad decisions driven by an unchecked mood, like anger or arrogance. Think about families falling apart. It's not always one big event. Often it's a slow erosion caused by years of harsh words, mouth, disrespect, manner, fueled by unresolved negativity, mind, or stress. Mood may be linked to money.
It's the system breaking down.
Exactly. Or look at financial ruin. People who had millions, literally millions, and ended up broke.
How does that even happen?
It's rarely just bad luck. It's usually a failure to control spending impulses, mind, mood linked to money, maybe driven by greed, mind, or keeping up appearances, manner affecting money. It's a failure within the 5M system.
Wow. Okay. So let's try to wrap this up. We've journeyed through the mouth, the mind, the mood, the manner, and money.
The 5Ms.
And seen how They're not just separate aspects of life, but this deeply interconnected system that holds immense power over our reality.
Which brings us to the final, really crucial point, the choice.
Master or slave?
Essentially, yes. It sounds stark, but if you don't make a conscious effort to understand and control these 5 forces, they will control you. It's almost automatic. Your mouth will say things you regret. Your mind will loop on negativity. Your mood will dictate your actions, often poorly. Your manner will push people away. And your money situation will dictate your life choices. You become enslaved by these very elements.
But the flip side?
The flip side is liberation. If you commit to mastering them, understanding how they work together, honestly, there's very little that can truly stand in your way of creating a life with purpose, with real agency.
So the next time things feel chaotic, overwhelming, the message here is pause.
Pause and look inward.
It might not be fate or bad luck or destiny just happening to you.
It's far more likely that it's the 5M, operating silently, sometimes unconsciously, shaping your world from the inside out.
And the power to change that dynamic.
Yeah.
It lies with you. In every moment, you're making a choice. Will you be the master of these forces, or will you let them master you?
And maybe here's a final thought, something provocative to chew on after this deep dive.
Okay.
We often think the world belongs to the strongest or the richest or maybe the smartest, right?
That's the common narrative.
But perhaps the world really belongs to those who've mastered these 5 invisible yet incredibly potent forces, the ones who truly command the 5M.
That's a powerful reframing. So for everyone listening, maybe the question is, which M feels like the right starting point for you right now? Where does your own reflection begin?
The power is there.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive.